What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and just got home from checking out the Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, this one is basically it's based on one chapter of the captain's log from original Bram Stoker's Dracula novel. Now, what did I think about this one? I thought it was pretty darn good. I know this one did not do good at the box office at all. This thing is basically dead in the water already, but I still felt that it was one that needed to be checked out. And I'm glad I did. I thought the acting, all the way around, I thought the acting was pretty exceptional, especially with our main cast of characters. But, especially, it's a film that takes place, basically, the majority of it just takes place on the Demeter, on this ship that is carrying the cargo, obviously. And the cargo is coming from Transylvania, from Romania, being Dracula and his, and if you've seen the trailer, obviously, he has a little bit of a companion along the trip with him as well. And that causes some things that happen on the ship as also. But overall, I think this was a pretty solid film. I think it should have done better probably at the box office. I think it just got completely destroyed and smushed into so many other films that are coming out right now, especially with Barbie still out and Oppenheimer. Both of those just still killing it at the box office. I think this was just a, Universal's attempt to, just dump it into the theater and see what happens and hope it could sink or swim. And unfortunately, it sank, which is unfortunate because I thought this film, it has those feels of an old Universal monster film, but it also has the feels of some old Hammer films too. So it definitely mixes both, types of genre, both types of horror houses, basically, whether it be Universal's house of horrors or Hammer's house of horrors. It definitely adds a little bit of twist on both of them. I think it's done pretty well, and I think Dracula himself, how he looks in like bat form, is creepy as anything. And I appreciate there are quite a few special practical effects, special effects obviously in this film, but there are some pretty darn good practical effects, I think, done well in this film. And without spoiling, I'm not going to spoil how the ending or anything like that. But I just will say that it's unfortunate that this film did not do that well at the box office, because I would have liked to have seen this world explored a little bit more, a little bit deeper into the the lore and the story. But I think taking one chapter of a captain's log for Bram Stoker's Dracula and creating almost a 2-hour film, I think it's done pretty well. I don't think it drags at all, which, surprising, this one thing I was a little bit concerned about was, would this film drag? Being that long, basic, what they're working with, could they pull off an almost 2-hour film? And I think they did just that. I think they did pretty darn good with what they were working with. And it kept me captivated the whole time. I think there are some pretty good, terrifying moments. It's not over the top, but there's some pretty decent gore shots in this one as well. But there are some the emotion and some tears were shed in this film as well, with some of the things that happen with with the actors and stuff like that. And I think some of that, their emotion, their sadness is really brought through quite well on film, especially for a Dracula film. But I enjoyed it. It's just, like I said, it's a shame that it got sandwiched into so many other titles that are out right now. Because when I first saw the trailer for this a few months ago, I was sold. I was absolutely 100% sold. This was my kind of film to check out. And there's been some other horror, other horror related films that have come out this summer that, just unfortunately kind of got sandwiched and didn't work out. Some worked out well, like Insidious. That worked out really well for them. And Talk to Me has worked out pretty darn well for A24 as well. Both of those I still have to check out. But The Last Voyage of the Demeter, I like how it looked. It had an old time feel in a lot of scenes, and it really harkens back to a lot of old Universal, and like I said, some old Hammer as well. So if you get a chance, definitely check this one out. If you can catch it, if you have the time, check this one out. You can definitely use all the love and support that they can get, because I think it's a pretty darn good film. So Last Voyage of the Demeter. I'm going to give this one, about 7.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it that much. 7.5 out of 10. So, like, subscribe, and comment if you get a chance, and I will catch you in another episode. Take care.